Hey everyone, this is Connor with Housebang.com here. We have another real estate talk, and this one's going to be more of a basic market update, just kind of talking about the big issues that the housing market's seeing right now. We're going to be citing Fox News and also Market Watch. And let's go ahead and start it off. And the big issue is right now is affordability. That's going to be the topic right now. You're probably going to see it, as we're speaking. It's, of course, we got the presidential election coming up in 2024, which is right in this year already. And this is going to be a huge issue regarding that. Well, it should be, right? Because, I mean, this is housing. This is housing for Americans. So if it's not a big issue, I would be concerned if I didn't see it brought up, like, for example, and, many questions being asked to candidates and also the debate as well. But yeah, so start off with the Market Watch, where construction of new homes fell 5.5%, the lowest in 4 years. So really what's causing this, which is keeping, this is why the market's not just like going through the floor, is, we haven't had a huge influx of inventory, of course. And that's because a lot of people aren't selling their houses. They're holding on to their better rate. And then what right here, as we just referenced, construction companies aren't building as much new development. Why? It's because their rates on these houses that they're financing, their rates are higher. It looks like, according the Fox News, which the article that I read a bit this morning, 12 to 13% is what you're seeing, and on top of more expensive supplies, of course, just like your typical, your regular supplies that are going into the construction of the house, whether it's framing, roofing, just the whole thing. Everything's more expensive, appliances. And this is leading to a lot of home builders just holding off in their operations. They're saying, we're not going to go build that, 2,000 home community because our rate's going to be 12 to 13% on top of the increased cost for our materials. And that's leading to less houses, right? Less availability for new housing, and the rates right now in relative to the prices, it's what's stopping people from listing their houses, because they don't really want to go anywhere unless they have to. They want to hold on their good rate. So you have builders who who are holding off building due to it being expensive, and home buyers who are already in, homes that are, of course, already built. They've been there for a bit, not moving unless absolutely necessary, because they know that they're probably going to have to pay more per month for a house that's just as nice as the one they're in right now. And that's the big thing. That's, over the past 4 years, you can see that the trending for housing has not been this ideal. Big topic is the regulatory environment is lacking. It moves in a really erratic. It's really hard to predict as well. This is something that we haven't really seen. We haven't really seen an economic situation like this before. So a lot of like the normal rules that you'd see, it doesn't exactly do what you'd expect, which is interesting. And how does this impact what we're going to see for the rest of the year during the presidential election coming up here in November? And this was interesting. This was apparently this was provided by Redfin. I read it in a Fox News article here, that 91% of Gen Z say housing costs will impact their vote in the presidential election. So especially with younger people who feel like they're the ones who get priced out, at a higher rate, because I mean, think about this too, though. If you're not selling a house, and if you're not selling a house with equity, it's harder to get that down payment. And also, if you're in the kind of the younger age category, you may have student loans. You just started your career, so you're probably not at a level yet. Of course, you'll get there eventually, but at a level yet where you're making a ton of money for your position, because you're younger, you just started. On top of that, you probably have some student loans as well. And this is going to be a huge topic for those people. They want to be able to buy houses. Everybody wants to be able to buy a house and raise a family in them. And recently it's been very unaffordable, and unfortunately, not a reality that for a lot of these people. And this is especially in more expensive markets. So, right, I mean, if you're making average income as an American, you could really be pushing it in most markets to, barely to, be able to even qualify for a 30-year, fixed rate mortgage in the market you're in. And that's just like right to get pre-approved for one. It can even be challenging. Maybe you have to, you really push your budget. But there's a lot of markets too. Like, I think, like, for example, like a lot of California markets. I think we talked about in one of our last talks that the average price for a house in like San Jose was $1.5 million. So you take a market like that and take an average income for someone in this country, and it doesn't work. And unfortunately, it just doesn't work. You're not able to buy a house. And that's why we need to fix this, of course, because everybody should be able to buy a house in the area that they want to live, with their family. They don't, it shouldn't be a reality where, if all your friends and family are living in San Jose, but you have to move out of San Jose because it's just simply too unaffordable. And then you have to move away from your friends and family. That shouldn't be a reality. And the problem is too, when we talk about average income, and it's hard to qualify for a 30-year mortgage that can buy properties in most markets, is that at the rate that interest rates are going, at the pace that interest rates are going up, and the way the prices are staying the same, the problem is the income hasn't adjusted enough. For example, you could argue that probably in a lot of markets over the past 5-6 years, the price of houses have doubled. The purchase price for houses, a lot of these markets, it's practically doubled. And what hasn't doubled in the past 5 to 6 years is the amount of money people are getting paid, right? If you let's say you're a teacher, whether elementary school, high school, or anything. Let's say you're a teacher 6 years ago, most likely you're not making double as what you did 6 years ago. You might be making a bit more, but it's not double. So the amount that people are getting pay raises is getting outpaced by these housing costs. And that's what's really causing it to be unaffordable. It's not just the prices, it's not just the rates, it's the combination of the both. And that's why you hear a lot, in the past, I've talked to a lot of people like this too. Rates have been higher than 7%. They've been as high as like 12, 14%, like in the teens. But the thing is, that's not the sole factor. The reason it's so unaffordable now is because the rates are high in relative to record high prices. We're at record high prices, but the rates are high in relative to the record prices. So one of them's got to give in order to make this market more tolerable. And that's like when you go back and where you're looking at interest rates of 14%, the price of the home was not as expensive in relative to the rate. But right now the rates are high for relative to the record high cost to buy a property. And hopefully, we see the rates move. I'd really like to see the rates move to a lower, level, so then people are able to get back in these markets and, to really see those monthly payments start going down, because, a lot of counties, for example, are reassessing properties. You're getting taxed more than ever, and you paid more for your house than ever. It can feel super overwhelming, especially, for all different groups, working class Americans and this younger group here, right? 91% of Gen Z. So that this is going to impact their vote in the election. And I think, as it should, right? It's housing for Americans. This is a huge topic. It should be the front cover of a lot of this stuff. But unfortunately, it's not. A lot of times you might read an article on the news. It's like, why am I reading about this when most Americans can't even afford a house, right? But yeah, I think hopefully, we're able to see some rates. We're able to see the rates move, to reflect these prices better, to get this market moving again and make everything more affordable for Americans. But, we'll see how this goes. Definitely, I think we'll see this as a topic for the upcoming elections, but let me know what you think. Do you think that, how do you think it's going to play out for the rest of the year? Do you expect rates to go down? Do you think prices are going to go down? Or do you think it's going to stay where it is? Because right now, with the inventory that we have, it's not looking like the prices are going to move too much with the level of inventory we have. But if the rates, if they go ahead, they adjust the rates for us, they make it more reasonable to borrow money, it should get a lot better on a monthly basis for a lot of people looking to buy houses. Well, I hope you enjoyed, of course, and go ahead and comment, leave your feedback, and recommend any topics. I'll be glad to check them out. Thanks.